Thank you all for being here today. I'm going to go ahead and call us to order. Jared would normally be our chair, but I'm going to stand in for him this morning as he navigates some things. So I'm going to go ahead and call us to order. Let's start with Office of the President of the Board of Aldermen, Maurice Falls.
I'm Director of Operations at the President's Office, Board of Aldermen.
And present. Representing the Comptroller's Office.
Tyson Pruitt, Public Information Officer to the Comptroller, and I'm here.
Thank you, Tyson. Jared Boyd, Office of the Mayor.
Are you Tom?
Yeah.
Did you say present?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
All right.
Okay, present. And then Sarah Baker, also representing the Office of the Mayor, Deputy Chief of Staff, present. Okay, so our agenda for this meeting is very simple. We've got the call to order and roll, which we've done. Good work. Then we are gathered here today to review the RFP for lobbying services for federal grants. I sent the RFP over on Friday. I want to open this up to any questions that folks might have about that draft RFP.
I'm looking at 6E, which is Minority Women in Business Enterprise, as well as I think it had another area where they were questioning the participation. And I really just, there's a paragraph or two that's been done by the law office that which is a more descriptive of the bound ordinance of 7067 with the rules and regulations, and then to provide a link. I was looking to see how I could paste that over, but I tell you where I got it was for general legal services, where we had an RFP out that was sent by the legal office, and it does have a very descriptive representation of how the paragraph and how the ordinance described it and how it should be read and viewed and responded to, which I think covers us legally under those circumstances. And it's more explanatory because we've been having a lot of back and forth recently with interpretations, and so and I think this says it a little bit better, especially as far as being the documents that are included, and the incentive credit where it should be applied, and those things like that, as opposed to it just being a simple your MBE, WBE participation, and it leaves less room for opportunities for us not to address the issue and move forward. We should be able to move forward with it and just go at it,
Sure. Yeah. So if you have that language and can send it my direction, that would be helpful. This was drafted by the city councilor's office, but I'm happy to insert that more descriptive language if you can just forward it to me from a previous RFP.
Yeah, and see, but I think the difference is that Dave Meyer over at SLDC, who was kind of like responsible for the office of the MBE participation at the airport, I think it was more or less written by him, and which covers it a little firmer to where we don't have a lot of pushback in different areas of when we should have to do evaluations, when we should do this and when we should do that. And if we go by the ordinance, it kind of clears it up. And
okay. Well, I can email David and CC you, but if you want to forward me what he previously put together, I can get that in here too.
Yeah, and then that way, if it's not, then we could have a conversation about it. But I think basically it has what we need to move forward, so we can stop a lot of these areas of and what needs to be put on a RFP. So thank you, and Sarah, I will forward it. And I saw the Israeli Act, so I think other than that, I didn't have it. I think it was a well put together RFP, especially with the determination of what their scope of work. And I think you just did a great job, and thank you.
Thank you. Tyson, any edits on your end?
Well, I do have a question on, and it's on page 8 in the proposal evaluation section. One of the criteria is item F, proximity of the organization to the city. And I didn't, you know, since it's a federal lobbying position, I didn't know if, you know, how you were thinking about that, because of course you also want them in DC. And, you know, if, so it's really just it's not a correction as much as it is a question of you know, proximity here and there, or one or the other, or, you know, that sort of thing. So, and you all have probably thought through it, but I just wanted to raise that.
Yeah, it's a good flag. I did consider taking it out. And then I also thought about some of the firms that, you know, do have a Missouri presence, but also have a DC presence. So if that's not something that you all want to evaluate when we're considering the proposals, I'm happy to take it out. In my mind, I was sort of thinking of those firms that span both, you know, that have some people here we can talk to and also have their arm in DC.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I think that's, you know, I think that's reasonable. And I know, I think it was, which one is it on K, the commitment to the city of St. Louis. I think that's a valuable item as well, because I mean, you know, to the point, a purely DC firm might be lobbying for countless other cities that we're in competition with, you know.
Wow.
So
right. So I mean, I am very open to, if you want to take out proximity of the organization to the city of St. Louis, I really don't mind doing that. I think the strong commitment language covers us there too. What do you think?
It's your RFP. So
well, we can vote on these changes all at once at the end. So I will, oh, Jared, you came off mute there. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes. Yeah, I think this job does require both kind of expertise in federal policy, but also having an understanding of kind of Missouri and St. Louis specific issues. So I do see the necessity for both of those things.
Okay. Well, then we can go ahead and keep that one in there. Any other flags before I move on to dates? Okay, so what we have in the RFP right now is that we would issue today, I'm looking for the breakdown, we would close on June 13th. We would accept questions via email, and I would answer those. The question I have for you all is, when can we reconvene to select? So this needs to be after June 13th. So what does it look like? What does your Thursday the 16th look like?
I could do the afternoon of the 16th.
So can I.
Okay. Then I will put that in as our selection date for 6/16, and I will coordinate with you all about afternoon scheduling for that. And then as far as advertising, before we make a motion on all of these things, you know, I would propose, of course, we do the City Journal. I would propose we also do the American. Anywhere else that people would propose advertising?
I think there's a legal journal, something relative to that. That we could possibly go into that may make a difference as well. I don't know, do you think that fits? But I'm almost sure it kind of fits into that category of legal representation, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, another place we might consider doing is Missouri Scout, which is publication that advertises specifically to lobbyists.
Oh, that's cool.
They do it in Missouri, but I know some federal lobbyists that also track Missouri would be following MoScout. Do we want to consider that one?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I will look into MoScout, the American, and of course the City Journal. And with that, I think we're good to go ahead to make a motion to issue the RFP with all of these changes. So just to review the changes, I'll be getting the minority and women business enterprise language from Maurice and David Meyer. We're going to advertise in MoScout, the American, and the City Journal, if at all possible. The date for issuance, or the date that the RFP closes, is going to be June 13th, and we will convene on the 16th to make a decision about selection. And so with that, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to issue the RFP. Do I have a second?
Second.
Hold on one second, and I will call the roll. All right. President of the Board of Aldermen's Office, Maurice Balls.
Aye.
Jared.
Aye.
Tyson.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Okay. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Cool. And I will make a motion for previous role. Can I do that?
Moved.
So moved. Thank you. All right. And we are adjourned.